I felt like I was going to flip my supervisor's desk over. I was going to turn into the Incredible Hulk at work, and it was not going to end well. I was having anxiety attacks as I pulled into the parking lot. I couldn't sleep at night. I wanted to fight all the time. I was mad as hell all the time. I generally just hated my job. But my blood pressure was high, and I was having migraines and headaches because I'm trying to manage my anger and not flip out at work. And I want to say some other choice words, but we live. But I mean, I was mad. I was mad as hell.
It's like when we get in trouble, people want to fan the flames, but it's also about staying in a toxic work environment. People say, well, let's survive. I'm like, no, you shouldn't, because when you start to spiral down, you can't come back from that. What was your trauma default?
So my biggest trauma default is being dark-skinned, Black, female, not being heard. Growing up poor, not having anything, hearing my mother always say, I'm broke, we don't have enough money. And so my trauma default is I gotta go get it. Ain't nobody giving it to me. Ain't nobody part of my rescue but me.
The main two was not being seen and then not feeling safe in whatever situation. So if you get into a situation where you're not being seen, and whatever the reason why you're not being seen, because you're going to link it to, you don't want to talk to me because I'm a dark-skinned Black woman, and boom, you off, it's over. Or because you didn't grow up with a lot of money, you not feeling safe, even if you have money, because you had money, but if somebody threaten your money, it's over. Bullies are going to be bullies, but bullies who can push your buttons and get a reaction are the worst. He was manipulating your emotional capacity because you were emotionally capable of being manipulated. We have to come into self-preservation, and we have to know we don't really need that much, but what do I need? What can I do? And you took your power back.
So I'm happy.
Somebody wrote in the chat, why didn't the company deal with the bully? Child, that's the $1 million question. So welcome everyone. I want to give y'all some strategies and some insight on how to emotionally regulate. And so one of the things that I want to talk about today with regards to women, Black women in particular, people are fanning the flames of us being angry. And I want to be clear, we do have a right to be angry, but we don't have a right to be angry. And so what I wanted to bring to the forefront today was a woman who used to be angry. You ain't gonna smile when I say that. What better person to talk about being angry than women who used to be angry, present company included, along with other people? Because here's the thing, Ciandra, and this is why I wanted to talk to you today. And one, I'm so excited that you are willing to come and share your insight, because it's so common of what people tell us that we should be doing and what's not possible. And I want to create a new conversation and a new reality, as always, of what's possible. So stop allowing people to tell us that we should be angry and we have a right to be angry, because that's messing up different parts of our life. Our house is messing up our mindset, is messing up our health, and is messing up how we connect with our families and a whole host of issues. So welcome, Ciandra. So Ciandra, what was going on with you last January of 2024?
I felt like I was going to bomb the rubble. I was going to flip my supervisor's desk over. I was going to turn into the Incredible Hulk at work, and it was not going to end well. I had visions of being hauled out of there by military police officers on a daily basis. I was having anxiety attacks as I pulled into the parking lot. I couldn't sleep at night. I wanted to fight all the time. I was mad as hell all the time. I generally just hated my job and hated all the personnel that I worked with. That's a little bit.
You know what's so common? Same here. I mean, I really don't tell the stuff. I don't tell the story all the time publicly, because this is some of the stuff that I talked about 2016, 2017. I used to dream somebody was going to come get me because I wanted to like beat my boss up. And I know that I was going to be hauled out in handcuffs, and he might have beat me up because he was a big man, but I was going to get 2 licks in. He was going to be bleeding. I was going to bite his ear or something. Right. And so when we're at that state of mental deterioration, nobody really cares. And we'll tell people, but they don't really believe us, Ciandra. And so when I think about, you know, who you are and the things that you've done, is like when we get in trouble, people want to fan the flames, but it's also about staying in a toxic work environment. People say, well, let's survive. I'm like, no, you shouldn't, because when you start to spiral down, you can't come back from that. So here's the thing. The difference between you and a lot of women, you knew you were ready to admit to it. I talk to a lot of women who won't admit to it. They'd be like, well, I don't want to be angry. I'm like, but you are. They'd be like, well, I don't want to be. I'd be like, but you are. And we can't change what you're not willing to admit to. Why are you laughing? Go ahead.
Because it's true. I think in one of our sessions, you said the bit that even is on Instagram where you said, I'd rather work with a white man than an angry Black woman. We are mad. We're mad as hell. We're mad as hell that we work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, 7 times as hard, don't get recognized. We're damned if we do, we damned if we don't. You know, we do something well and go above and beyond our means, but now we showed up the boss or the supervisor or someone else or just a little bit of haterade and anything. Our melanin is just enough for someone to hate us. So it doesn't take much. And now your back is against the wall and you're only human. It's only so much cherries, raindrops, and rainbows you can bring to the party, you know, and after a while, it's just like, I'm human, Duke's up, let's go. You want it? I can bring it.
Okay, yay, great. So this is gonna be a great conversation. What did you do after we have the conversation to break that cycle? Because you were aware. What did you do? So you had to accept it and then know that you could change, or did you have to do the action and then see that you could change? Which one was it?
I was doing everything all at once. I had to accept it. I had to recognize it. And I did recognize it first. I recognized where I was, what I was going to do, what I was envisioning, because it was starting to be more real to me every single day. And I actually was in an office room with one of my employees. And she had accused me of doing so many things, and they were all lies. And I was 3 seconds off her ass. Excuse me for saying that. But that's when I knew I need help. I need help because something's going to happen. So I happened to just be scrolling through Instagram as I normally do, looking for motivation, inspiration, something to say to me that, you know, it's okay. It'll be all right. God will make it all right and you'll go on. And I saw you pop up and you were saying all the things that I really was feeling. And so it was like, wow, it's somebody else out here that feels just like me, and nobody's calling her crazy, and nobody's stabbing her in the back, and nobody's putting her in a box, and you know, all those wonderful things. So I joined VFM, and then I started to take in the strategies. I started doing the meditation, going for the 5 a.m. walks. I read the 5 a.m. Club, I think that's what it is, and started getting up in the morning and trying to make sure that I'm out in the sunlight for 2 hours a day, meditating, turning off my phone. Like when I leave work, that's it. Unvolunteering for stuff. I used to instruct. I'm an instructor by trade. Love what I do. I love going out. I love the military soldiers and all that stuff. I stopped instructing. I was like, no, I can stay at home. I deny, no, we're not going to come to that event. I'm sorry. You know, like you said, volunteering for things at the office. No, I have nothing to bring. I cannot help you. Volunteering for activities outside of the office. No, I'm not going to be able to make it. You know, just saying no and being uncomfortable with saying no. Also sitting at home sometimes and not doing anything. That helped as well. Giving myself permission. Because as high achieving women, I think that's another thing we all have in common. If you have a day off, me and a couple of my girlfriends, we're like, don't even tell anyone. Like, don't tell anyone you took the day off. Stay at home, cut the phone off. Don't answer the phone. Don't tell the kids. Don't tell the spouse, you know, anyone, just nothing. And so I had to do everything at once to save myself. And it was hard. It's hard to meditate. Like we pray, Black people pray as a whole, you know, we pray, but praying and meditating is different. Having to understand that and see that those are 2 different planes that you need to be on. So I would meditate in the morning after my morning prayers ritual, and getting a routine in the morning that helped as well. And it wasn't instant. I'm not saying that it happened the first week, because the first week I still want to go in there. with a water hose and spray everybody down like the 70s and bring my German shepherds and wolves and all that stuff. I still want to kill people, get out my face. But eventually, as I kept doing it and putting up the affirmations, they're all over my bathroom. I even started recording it and sending it to my friends that were having some of the same hard time. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Why don't you try it? The main one that sticks to me is something good is going to happen to me today. I have to believe that in the deepest depth of my soul to keep from snatching somebody's body out, and those are the things, if that makes sense.
I love it. So let me show you a before picture, because that's what I do. I'm gonna there she go. So y'all see she's shining today. What advice do you have for this version of you? Because you smiling with a cracked smile, acting like you happy. You ain't that happy. But what advice do you have for that version of you? Because there are women who are like living your experience right now. What advice do you have? And other women who are angry right now and they want to stop a hole in somebody, but they're trapped in their job.
Number one, I say the best is yet to come. And number two, I say get the hell out of there. Get out. That is the best advice that I got from you, was the get out advice. I had to figure out how to escape. Or for those of us that have kids, escape. I had to get out. I knew that I'm an eagle. I'm sitting around with chickens. You told me one time that I was a firecracker inside of a canned drum waiting to explode. And I didn't really, at the time, it was just kind of laughter to me. It was kind of funny when you said it, but the more and more that I sit in that situation and the more uncomfortable it made me, the more I knew. The other thing is, I think God makes us uncomfortable as well. If I had been comfortable in my situation, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have sought help. I wouldn't have gotten permission to relax. I wouldn't have started meditating. I wouldn't have started doing, I did positive affirmations, but not on this level. Journaling, writing letters to make sure that the people that got on my nerves, I got that information up and out of me, to get to a place where my blood pressure lowered. Not that I had high blood pressure. I wasn't on any medication or anything like that, but my blood pressure was high and I was having migraines and headaches because I'm trying to manage my anger and not flip out at work. And I want to say some other choice words, but we live on LinkedIn, so I'll let that go. But I mean, I was mad. I was mad as hell. And so I had to learn all those things, and even being able to do that, I'm a success story. If I can come through it, anyone can. As an active duty soldier, I was a military police officer. I was around mostly white males. They never think or believe that you as a female, and definitely a Black female, have any intelligence whatsoever about you. That angers you every day. And so you're combating that. So I'm combating and fighting with that every day, whether it's internally or externally. And sometimes it's both. Then coming out from that, being married to someone who doesn't think or wants to suppress the being that you are. And I don't know why God made me like this. I often tell my daughter has the same personality. Your personality is so big, it walks into the room before you. I didn't ask for this. This is just who I am. But if you're not in the right place, if you're not in the right alignment, you're always going to be off, and you're going to think that it's you, and it's not you. It's the place that you are in. So you have to elevate. You cannot be in the $30,000 job. You can't be in the $40,000 job. You worth more than that. So you have to elevate. If you find yourself out of alignment, figure out what you have to do to elevate.
What was your trauma default? And trauma default, y'all, is typically what's going on today, and the rage, and we want to snatch somebody and all the other kind of stuff is really, yes, we are angry in the moment. And Ciandra, what they're doing is true, but our reactions become detrimental because we're bringing all of the stories that we've had for the past 35. I don't know how old you are. You cute though, but we're bringing a 30-year experience with us to this present moment. So not only are you experiencing this present moment, you're bringing the 30 years of pain with you to now explode in the present moment, where, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, the present moment may have warranted a 2 or a 3 level reaction, but they're going to get a 13 because we're bringing it with us. So what was your trauma default?
So my biggest trauma default is being dark-skinned, Black, female, not being heard. No one wants to hear, no one wants to acknowledge that I have something to bring to the table. growing up poor, not having anything, hearing my mother always say, I'm broke, we're broke, we don't have enough money, not having nice clothes, not having nice shoes, going without, lack. I never grew up without electricity. I didn't grow up without food or housing or shelter or anything, but I grew up without. And so my trauma default is I got to go get it. Ain't nobody giving it to me. Ain't nobody part of my rescue but me. I'm the rescue. There is no one standing behind me, pushing me up, holding me up. I got to go get it by any means necessary. Anyone standing in my way, you're doing just that. You're standing in my way. So I got to figure out how to go around you, over top of you, through you, if I have to, or whatever. So just being determined.
Was that it?
I can go on.
You got like 3
I got some more.
Okay, go ahead.
My fear of failure, I don't want to fail. I got 2 kids. I'm divorced and I have 2 kids. And I was like, my kids can't be those lazy kids laying on the couch. They got to be somebody. I got to be somebody. And in order to get your kids to fulfill that, you've got to show them the way. You can't just tell them. So now I'm grinding every day. I'm traveling all over the world internationally and trying to get it done and show them the way. I was successfully able to get 2 of, between my sister and I, we have 5 kids, 2 of them own their own homes before they were able to drink, before the age of 21. They bought and owned their own homes, put down payments on and all that stuff. Had the rest of our 5 kids on track to do the same thing. I'm an overachiever in a lot of ways because I'm trying to prove to someone somewhere out there who said that I wouldn't make it, someone who said that I would never be anything, I remember I was going to college when I first graduated high school, and my grandfather said, if you quit, you'll never go back. It took me 20 years, but I had to go get that degree because he said that. So, a lot of that happens. I think that's the basic thing. And just having someone to tell you over and over again what you can't do. When people doubt me, I think that fuels my fire. So that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because too much fuel in the fire can cause an explosion.
So I think the biggest one, the main 2 was not being seen and then not feeling safe in whatever situation. So if you you get into a situation where you're not being seen, and whatever the reason why you're not being seen, because you're gonna link it to you don't want to talk to me because I'm a dark-skinned Black woman, and boom, you off, it's over. Or because you didn't grow up with a lot of money, you're not feeling safe. Even if you have money, because you had money, but if somebody threatened your money, it's over. So, y'all, when we think about having buttons, it's like we have buttons where you can go from 0 to 100 in about a minute, 2 minutes. And we got that one button, apparently you got 5 big ones where you go to 0 to 100. You just touch that button. It's over, like over. Do you hear me? And you go overboard. But here's the thing. You had a lot of these challenges, fear of failure, proving people wrong, fighting people. I fight you, not feeling safe, not being seen, not having a lot of money. So you got to go get it. Then you chose, which is what I chose. We choose the military for security. So a lot of us choose our careers out of safety. And then we get stuck because the safety starts to turn on us. And so we create these bonfire of experiences that are just stacked on top of what we joined the military with these things already. And it gets to a certain point where it becomes detrimental and something has to break. And typically either you're going to break or the job is going to break. So it was difficult with you, which I love you, to get you to completely disengage. So I recommended that you take a break. Oh man, take a break. Because you wanted it, but we had to like give you some time so you can make a rational decision is what I wanted. Because if you're irrational, a lot of women, as you know, Ciandra, which I did, made an irrational decision. So if you want to transition out, let's have a financial plan.
All of this is true. You did say it and I wanted it. I knew I needed it so bad because it was getting to the point. I mean, I'm calling my psychiatrist, my therapist, my doctors, because I'm gonna kill this man today.
But a lot of times the person that jumps on our nerve the most is the person who's pushing the 4 buttons that you have all simultaneously. Like he play, Simon, the game Simon, he like bum, 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 bum. So you are going ape shit bullies are going to be bullies, but bullies who can push your buttons and get a reaction are the worst. And so he was doing that. But he was manipulating your emotional capacity because you were emotionally capable of being manipulated.
Yeah,
So
that's
anyway, so
real.
what happened? What happened after you took a break? Because you had to take a break. How long was your break, and then what happened?
So I first started with FMLA. Oh my God, I love this. So I first started with FMLA. Let's get FMLA going. Let's take a break. But that was not enough, because then that bully started bullying my staff members. And so where I was supposed to be at home relaxing and whatever, it didn't work. My staff members were calling me, and I was like, I got to go back to protect my staff members from the bully. So the FMLA turned into, I go back, and now the bully is extra with it. And I think I reached out to you and I said, I'm going to quit.
Tell me what you did to prepare yourself financially, because you made some money moves. Because sometimes, Ciandra, irrationally, like I did, I had money saved, right? And when I realized I had over $100,000 saved, I quit. But then I didn't fix my mindset, and I burned through that money so fast. Then I ended up like losing everything.
So I knew that was going to happen. So one of the things I have rental property. So my first move was to sell the rental property. But I sit down and I thought about that, between capital gains tax, between taxes, and between, like you said, even at 100,000 or even 200,000, you can blow through that real quick. I mean, it just, it sounds like a lot sometimes, but it's really not. And I sit down and I looked at the amount of months it would probably take me to blow through that, and a couple of incidentals here and there, maybe taking some vacations. And I was like, that's not worth it. So let's see what in the long run is going to be. So the long run was maintain the rental property and get it up to par so that I could rent it at the highest rate of rental. So right now my rental property is renting at about $200 to $300 higher than any other property in its neighborhood, and it's smaller. It's about 300, 400 square feet smaller than any other property in its neighborhood. So I was able to elevate that right there to do that. And that gives me that reoccurring income every month. So I have that. I thank God I am 100% service connected, disabled veteran. So I have that. And through all of this all plays into my mental health too. And so for my mental health, I kept telling them, I got to go. I have to go. So I prepared myself with that. I got rid of my vehicles. Just so happened, and again, God just aligned stuff up for us. My son, I was out of town on business, and my son wrecked my car, head-on collision, completely totaled my Lexus. So they removed that from my credit and paid that off. So now I'm stuck. I actually didn't have a vehicle for over 30 days. That hasn't happened to me since I was like 18 years old. So I said, you know what? Again, I don't want to go in debt because I don't know where this is going. I know I want to go somewhere else with this, and I want to be okay. I pulled some money out of savings. I went and bought 2 cars cash, done with that. So no car payment. So right now I'm able to, between the 2 checks that I have coming in, I am able to make my mortgage payments and insurance and utilities. And that's about it. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm living under my means. Yeah, I probably can't go get a Gucci bag next week, but like I have 10, probably have 1,100 bags upstairs. Like, really, what else can I buy? I don't need any more shoes. I don't need any more clothes. And I actually sit in my house, and something that I love to do that brings me calm, and that's painting furniture. So go and get some $20 furniture from the thrift store and paint some furniture and whittle or whatever, and sit at the house and yell at my dogs that act like 4-year-old kids. They're German shepherds. They don't listen, but like, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy, and nobody's going to disturb my peace. So that's where I am.
And I want to talk about the major thing that you talked about, right? Was the question that I always ask my clients is, how much do you need, or how much do you need saved before you start to lose assets? So you push it to the worst case scenario. We don't need as much as we think we do. And so a lot of times women die in jobs because they think they need, like, oh my God, I need this job to survive. Well, actually you don't, but you haven't done the work to figure out, what can you downsize? What can you do? What don't you need? Let me buy a car cash. I would rather drive around in a used Toyota than to drive around in a BMW crazy and angry and having high blood pressure and migraines and headaches, right? And so we think that we need all these things, but when it gets down to it, we have to come into self-preservation. And we have to know we don't really need that much, but what do I need? What can I do? And you took your power back. And once you took your power back and you told yourself the truth, then you made a move. You didn't just sit there and wait. No. What advice do you have for women who are on the ledge of stomping a hole in somebody or quitting without a plan or just staying stuck? What advice do you have for the gamut of women who are angry right now? That's pretty much my question.
Wow. So I still see these women. I see them in my friends. Maybe not, their anger is not to the level that mine was, but I still see it in my friends. And I realize so many of them, as you said before, they don't listen because we've been taught from an early age as women to be high achievers. We've been pushed to the front of the line. We've been told you have to keep going, keep showing up every single day, never take a day off from work. Don't tell them you have kids. Don't tell them life is happening to you. Keep going. Be this over super achiever, put on the cape. Take the cape off. The cape is overrated. Take it off, burn that bitch. Just like, take the cape. I'm done. I'm done with the cape. I am not Superwoman. I'm not the cheerleader. I ain't none of that. I just want to be at peace. When I listened to one of the clips you had, you talked to a young lady, you asked her how many years could she go with her savings and blah, blah, blah. She said 25 years. You have 25 years worth of money in the bank, but you letting them trip you out at work to the point that you want to cuss people out. I'm just going out the door. Just bring yourself down. Calm yourself down, sit down and make an actual plan. There is nothing wrong with living under your means. There's nothing wrong with selling the Mercedes to go and get you a Honda. There's nothing wrong with selling that BMW to go and get you a Camry. There's nothing wrong. And it ain't nobody else's business. That's the other thing. I had a friend tell me, he said, I don't buy used cars. I said, well, I don't buy new ones. It depreciates $20,000 when you take it off the lot anyway. So who really cares? I don't care what you think of me. This my life. People told me when I wanted to paint these walls blue, it'll never work. They blue. And, so you have to live your life for you. What is it that you want for yourself? And what I wanted more than anything in this world, I wanted to be at peace. I feel like it's got to be a better way to make money than to get up every day, hate your supervisor, hate your job, hate pulling into the parking lot, hyperventilating, hate all the people that you work with, literally want to go in there with a baseball bat and clear out the building. I mean, I could just see myself walking in somebody's office and just flipping the desk over. No remorse. That's too much. That's too much. Pull back. And figure out all the ways that you can get yourself out of that situation. I mean, at one point, I was like, I'm going to quit and go work at Lowe's. I'm done.
Well, I think the biggest thing, one, I'm proud of you because I remember, I like to bring up old stuff. I'm glad I got you. I remember who you were before the Lord put his hands on your head and say, calm down, child. It's gonna be okay. Take control of your life. That's like Ciandra. That's all you did. You took control of your fate. Point blank, period. You made the hard decisions. You did the work. You said it is all free. I meditate. I walk. I do affirmations. I journal. I say no. And I learn how to do nothing. And I walk outside and get sunshine. Like, those are all free. And you get some sleep. But when I tell people these are the things that my clients have done to have peace, they don't believe me. I just be like, y'all, all that's free. So instead of going to get medication or, you're going to go to Bali, come back crazy. You're going to go to Greece and be in the flowing dress. You still crazy. You're going to go on vacation and smoke weed. Not you, but, smoke weed and be stone drunk, but you still going to come back home to your reality.
Yep.
So, before we close, make your reality one that you don't want to escape. Mm-hmm. When I get on a plane, people be like, oh, I got to go back to reality. Everybody, speak for yourself. I'm leaving my house. Like, you have made your reality one that you want based on what you want and not based on your fear. Right. And so the real equation to solve for y'all is before you get all the way here with all these things that are going on, which we are here. I want to be clear. I want y'all to know that you can choose differently, but you have to choose differently and you have to do something. And somebody wrote in the chat, why didn't the company deal with the bully? Child, that's not, like that's the $1 million question. It's not like, oh, we're gonna wait. She would have died or been in jail before she waited for them to manage him. Companies have bullies. I was bullied. Is not always, y'all, what they're going to do. Is why are we taking it?
Why are we taking it? Why should I sit here and allow this to happen to me day after day after day? I can walk out. I don't have to be here. You don't have to be there. My grandmother told me, God rest her soul, she used to say this to us when we were growing up. I was looking for a job when I got here, and I'll be looking for one when I leave.
All right.
It ain't the last job in the world. It's not the only place to make money. Strippers are happier than most of us in corporate America.
We're gonna drop off on that because I take the comment sideways and I'm live and I try to be professional. You know how
we should just go there with it. We should just go. You said to me one time though, I wanted to know. I was like, why won't they just listen to me? He's really doing this, and you was like, what you expect them to do? What do you really expect? You go and report someone to HR. What you really think gonna happen? You think somebody's coming in on a white horse and they're gonna fix it? They're not gonna fix it. If you want your life fixed, you got to get up and fix your life. You got to do the stuff that you have to do, whatever it is for you, because the culture is still gonna be the culture. When you leave, it's still gonna be what it is. So if you don't like it, get up and leave. Figure it out. Figure it out. Move across the world. I'm looking for a job in Africa right now. I could care less about the United States or any jobs around here, what they have to offer. Go. This is not the only country to live in. This is not the only place to be. That is not the only job in the world. And so what? Even in some situations, I'm not saying you should really take a pay cut because we're worth so much more, but peace to stay living, and then peace for your children. I show up different for my children. I talk to my children different. I even show up different for my dogs. Like it's real, and you can have it, and we can have it. And I'm overwhelmingly blessed to have been in VFM. I have no idea where I would have been without this program. I really don't know. I really absolutely don't know. I even got divorced. My second divorce was because I had no use for him. I was angry all the time. I just wasn't healed. I wasn't a healed human being. And it's because I couldn't understand some of the principles he was telling me that you were telling me. We could retire right now. We can sit at home. We can relax. But I wanted to go, 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 go. I can still go, but at my own pace, at my own distance, and where I want to go, and peacefully. So I want to peacefully go out. And I know we're over the 30 minutes, so I'll stop.
It's fine. I have to bring you back for a different interview. I mean, because you obviously you have a lot to say, but when I bring you back, I want to touch on how you letting go or managing your anger changed your home. So we'll bring you back in a couple of weeks because I want to get that story too. All right, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.